our journey as a democratic country in 1947, immediately we had no election. After a few years, when we conducted first election in 1951, 52, then through our National Election Commission, which formed in 1950, 25th January. This is not only an institution to conduct elections, free and fair elections, but this is an institution through which people can rely to cast their free vote. And this is an institution to just change and motivate the voting behaviors of Indian people. This institution working very well to continue our democratic vibrancy. We are talking about Indian national integration. National integration is not only a particular concept through which we can only think we are Indian. This is a very concept through which we can realize our fundamental duties, fundamental rights, and being the world's one of the, not only, as I have mentioned, the largest democracies, but we are such a country, the people of such a country which is multicultural, multi-religious, multilingual, multi-ethnic. So it was very much challenging to the framers of Indian Constitution to give a proper shape of this country. When India was liberated, then the number of states were very much less. Later on, so many princely states incorporated in Indian territory, Indian Union, and other states like Sikkim, Goa also incorporated. It was very much challenging to the Indian leaders to restore democracy and to manage the electoral mechanism. When India started its journey, then the system was Congress system. Raniganj once stated the Congress system. Why he stated? Because in center and various provinces or states, there was Congress-led government. So there was no strong opposition. Initially, it was very much tough to think how the Indian democracy will run, what will be the role of Indian party system. Yes, we have multi-party system democracy. India has a liberal democracy. Liberal democracy not only denotes having multi-party system, it denotes the right to speak freely, political movement, and right to criticize the government. When any country starts its initial journey, a lot of hazards are being covered, and India also had to face a lot of challenges before initial period. But without having literate voters, conscious voters, civil society cannot be built. Without having vibrant civil society, democracy can't work properly. During the initial period, we have a lot of challenges of food, we have a lot of challenges of illiteracy, we had poverty. So, being a poor country, it was very much challenging to the Indian leaders how to feed the people. First, Indian government had to think about food security, then democracy. And to understand democracy, it is very much essential to have a little knowledge about political system, constitution. But Indian people were not aware, most of the people, about democracy. But our framers of our constitution, they are very much intelligent and knowledgeable. So they actually understood what kinds of system will be applicable for India. Initially, when the first election took place in India, then both parliamentary election and the state assembly elections were simultaneously conducted by the National Election Commission of India. It went well for 15 years, 1952 to 1967. As I have mentioned, that was Congress system. So there is no conflict between the states and center. There is no question raised by the oppositions because the opposition was very much limited rule during that time. So it was expected that Congress system will be continued, but within the Congress there was some factionalism, and within the Congress there was some controversy. That is why Congress party split it. Congress party was divided so many parts, and later on from Congress so many leaders just they quit it and they formed new political parties. So role of regional political parties gradually got prioritized in India. In various provinces, various regions, so many political parties were emerged in India. So from Congress system, India moved towards not only multi-party system, towards coalition government, non-congressional system. And for the first time, the non-congressional government was formed in center in 1977 under the leadership of Morarji Desai, but that was not full tenured government. Within the 3 years, the government fell down. Then question was raised how to conduct parliamentary election and state assembly elections simultaneously, because so many states before completion of the tenure of 5 years, government fall down. In parliament also. The very year 1997, 1980 had marked by complexities of election in Indian system. Why? Because due to the short tenure government, other states were not also ready to conduct elections at the same time. And after that, we have seen how the short tenure government actually formed in center. In 1991, under the leadership of Narasimha Rao, a coalition government was formed. And there are so many challenges before the Narasimha Rao. Later on, another government was formed, led by H.D. Devegowda, then I.K. Gujral, short tenure government. And later on, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, 13 days government. Then again, NDA 1999. If you see this tenure, then you see how many elections had taken place during that time and what was the actual expenditure. The government of India had to spend a lot of money to conduct these elections. If we talk about the one nation, one election, then we'll have to think about the nature of Indian politics today. If there is mainstream nationalist political parties, national political parties, if they can ensure their magic figure in center as well as in provinces or states, it is possible. But if we think about the coalition politics, rainbow type government, then it is quite difficult because the common agendas, common minimum programs, ideologies are not same. So when the question of the narrow interest of the political parties come, then automatically that government cannot be able to complete the full tenure of 5 years. There are a lot of examples. That is why for a long time, government of India could not able to think to conduct parliamentary elections and the state assembly elections together. If we look at the Northeast Indian part of India, there are 7 sisters. Basically, if we talk about the integration, it is not only constitutional procedure. It is a procedure which can be achieved through social engineering. We have a lot of differences, difference of opinion, difference of culture, difference of religion, difference of ethnic entity. The way the people of several parts of India are thinking about India, this is not same. In many parts of India, they are not enlightened due to they are underprivileged. Their developmental process has not been done by the central government of India. Maybe due to geographical constraints, maybe some lack of industrial initiatives, or some political factors. So due to the lack of development or least development or the underdevelopment or uneven development, regionalism raised across India. So due to the rapid growth of regionalism since independence, lot of regional political parties emerged in Indian political party system. Many of them are busy with their regional interests. Some caste-based political parties are also there. Some community-based or religious-based political parties are also there. So when we talk about national integration, it is very much difficult to understand what actually various regional political parties of India are thinking, whether they are giving priority India first or regional interest second, or whether they are just considering Indian national interest first, then regional interest. But I must say, many times regional interests got priority. That is why the question of national integrity is really very complicated issue in Indian context. Now I am coming to our constitutional measures. We know Article 324(1). This article basically very important regarding the functions of the election commission. Yes, our election commission is no doubt one of the most fundamental pillar to restore democracy and to continue democracy. Lot of amendments, reforms actually helped so far. And if we talk about TN session in mid-90s, 1990s, he actually played very significant role to reform election commission. He was the first one who argued for voter cards. And before voter cards or after voter cards, there is a lot of challenges, lot of things happened in India. If we talk about our voter list, before TN session, there were some problems of infiltrators, illegal infiltrators, illegal immigrants, after crossing border who were actually entering into various parts of India, especially in the state of West Bengal, Tripura and Assam. So what are the exact voters? What are the real voters, Indian origin voters? Who are the outsiders? It was very difficult to identify them. He identified this problem and he ensured the actual voters. Then voter card has been mandatory for Indian voters. After that, another revolution introduced in India, EVM. So in earlier, when the ballot votes were conducted through ballot box, there are some events in India, various parts of India, rigging, manual rigging. I can say that rigging has been stopped yet. Rigging is going on, but thing is that the probability of rigging is very much less because there is a less probability of the manipulation of EVM machine results. This is the actually mechanical things, these are the technical things, but when we are talking about the one nation, one vote, then there are so many challenges before India. It is time taking to introduce this first of all. If we talk about, we will able to introduce one nation, one vote, one nation, one election, then it is time taking process because a lot of debates are going on. It was firstly advocated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, then with the presence of cabinet ministers, it was decided to form a committee headed by Ramanand Kovind, the former president of India, and he given his report. But thing is that we know about the amendment process of constitution. It is not so easy. Although India had witnessed a lot of amendments so far, but considering the present scenario of parliament, it is very difficult to pass the bill, though some discussion is going on, initiative also taken. But thing is, what is the negative sides, what are the positive sides? First of all, the positive sides. Some experts argue that if we can introduce one nation, one election system, then it will not only save money, it will also when the parliamentary election was conducted, then the total cost of that election was 60,000 crores rupees, INR. It includes the cost of from the Indian election, National Election Commission's end, and also cost of the political parties, which amount the various political parties spend for the electoral procedure and campaign. Number two, it will be very helpful for the local administrations. Basically, after National Election Commission, there is State Election Commission and District Level Election Commission, headed by District Magistrate. And during election, before election, during election, and after election, there are a lot of problems because due to the shortage of administrative personnel, all of the district magistrates, SDOs, BDOs, and other officers are involved in electoral process. So their daily activities, regular activities, got hampered due to their involvement for the 2 months or 3 months. So if, suppose, for example, in our state Bengal, if there is, suppose this year we conducted parliament election, and next year state assembly election, next very year another election, panchayat or municipalities, then just see how the schools, colleges will be involved, teachers will be involved, because they have to perform electoral duty. And most of the colleges and schools are occupied by the central forces, and study process totally stuck. So that is why that will not only helpful to the students, to the teachers, to the local administration, but also to the election commission, because they will have to prepare one blueprint for conducting 2 elections. Number 3, the issue of the deployment of the forces. There are so many cases where so many states already raised their voice against the central government. Central government is very much active in conducting elections. They are using the central forces. On the other hand, central government as well as the opposition parties are claiming and blaming the state government in various states in India that they are using the state mechanism, state forces. So in this way, they are doing rigging. They are not performing very well. To stop these debates, government can think about one nation, one election. It is also very beneficial for violence, to stop violence. Each and every parts of India, most of the parts, have had experience of electoral violence, pre-election, during election, and post-election violence. If at a time that 2 elections can be conducted, then the probability of violence can be reduced. Now I'm coming to the negative points. Is it possible to conduct 2 elections simultaneously? Debates raised, debates are going on in center, in various states, and among the civil society members, among the teachers, among the students also. Why? Number one, is it possible, before coming to this point, I have discussed about the nature of Indian politics, political party system, what is the reality actually? This system is not just like USA or UK or France. In UK or UK, almost bi-party system, USA. So if we are living in a country where the not only multi-party system, hundreds of political parties are there. So both will be divided. There is a question of hung parliament, the issue of short tenured government, fall of the government. If it is initiated, the question will be raised. If after election, if the government falls, then who will be responsible to conduct another election? Can the central government ensure that after initiating this project, India will able to continue simultaneous elections for a long time? It cannot be ensured, considering the present scenario or the nature of the Indian politics. Number two, this process also criticized by the states. This is an hegemonic initiative by the central government. As we know, in our constitution there are three lists: central list, state list, and concurrent list. And most of the important issues and aspects are given to the central list, and it is bigger than the state list. Regarding concurrent list, whenever any controversy will take place, then the central central government's opinion will be imposed. So this is an initiative, what is told by the opposition leaders. This is an initiative to reduce the importance of the state government, and the most centralized government will come in together. Third criticism is the central government, which is powerful, that can manipulate the entire system, and then they can mechanism entire administration or security forces to win the election. At a time they can win the state assembly elections and the parliamentary election. This is the fear of the opposition parties. Fourth challenge is, if we talk about India's one nation, one election policy, then automatically a question will be raised: how the government of India will manage the forces at a time? The huge number of forces will have to deploy each and every booth. In India, when we conduct parliamentary election or state assembly elections, there are several phases, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8 phases. So suppose today if there is election in Jalpaiguri or Kuchbihar districts of North Bengal, then after 5 days another election will be conducted in Malda. Then Bardhaman, after 2 days, after 4 days, 24 Parganas or Kolkata, due to the shortage of forces. So at a time, if the thousands and thousands of booths are used for conducting election, how the security will be deployed? Is it possible for the central government? Is it possible for the state government as well? Election is the integral part of democracy, no doubt. But to conduct election, if we think about its costs, its time, and its complexity, then we must think about the simplicity of the electoral process. It cannot be done overnight, because the voting behavior or political responses of the citizens are very much important in this regard. Number one, voting behavior. There are a lot of works done by the Indian psychologists, electoral experts, or Indian politics, state politics experts so far regarding the voting behavior. the voting behavior of India is not at par with the Western countries because the lack of their literacy, political literacy, constitution, about their knowledge, about the societal knowledge, economic knowledge, about their knowledge of politics and constitution. Most of the leaders are not at par with the international standard regarding their ethical things, regarding their records, crime records, regarding their literacy. So, without having good leaders with ethical values, you can't expect the good quality of voters. The voting behavior of India always determined by the politicians. Without quality voters, literate or educated voters, democracy cannot be established as a qualitative democracy. It is quantitative democracy, Indian democracy. Democracy always matters on numbers. Yes, that is true. But how the voters are selecting their candidates, this is very important. But this has not been, unfortunately, reflected in Indian system. If the actual reform is required, that is the required about the qualification of the politicians or candidates. They are sitting in the parliament without having any knowledge about Indian constitution or politics or Indian economy. They are passing the acts, they are debating, sometimes they are silent. And where the electoral process is determined by monetary factor, muscle power, how can you expect the qualitative democracy? This is not possible. Without having vibrant, educated and conscious voters, without changing the voting behaviors, it is not possible. Regarding the political response of the Indian voters, yes, they are very much active in politics. Even not only voters, even the academicians. Unfortunately, most of them are aligned with either A party, B party or C party. They feel their identity crisis without any alignment with any political parties. They think they are nowhere. So if my talk is very clear, what I want to argue here, if I am a teacher, I must cast my vote in political party, but it publicly, in my classes, in my public lectures, that should not be reflected, manifested. That I should not be biased in my class regarding my interaction with the students, what ideology I think. The most of the cases, most of the teachers, academicians or intellectuals are aligned with political parties. They don't give the proper education or thinking among the students. They always try to push their ideology among the students. At least students should learn from the society. A teacher can teach the students about the society, about the politics. After learning that, they can decide what political party is best for them. But unfortunately, right from schools to universities, most of the teachers and academicians are aligned with political parties. They expect some rewards, or they are afraid if they are not aligned with the political parties, they may be punished. So this is the basic challenge in Indian democracy. Without understanding Indian knowledge system, Indian societal system, Indian economic system, Indian foreign policy, Indian multi-diverse society, it is not possible to be a politician. So, my argument is, electoral reform is needed. If it is possible to conduct election without any intention of hegemonic presence of the central government, it is good. But it is also a rethinkable thing whether it is feasible or not. So it is time-taking process, I think, and after Lok Sabha, it will send to the Rajya Sabha and the state assemblies also. Two-thirds majority is very tough. If the central government, without a big majority, it is very tough. Sometimes there are a lot of examples we have seen to manage MPs. That is a system of bribery. To manage and to remain in power in a coalition politics, the small political parties are managed through bribery or giving them other facilities or privileges. So this creates corruption. So I think this is very short time to decide anything about the one nation, one election. Now I am coming to another aspect regarding the national integration. National integration, the word national has been derived from the word nation. The concept of nation is very different. Indian concept of national or nationalism is very different from the Western concept. In West, there is one nation, one state. Here, there is no nationalism here. Yes, during partition, during independence or pre-independence era, through national leaders or freedom strugglers, we are united to fight against the Britishers. After being liberated, we are infighting among ourselves. Because in true sense, we don't think we are Indians. We are not integrated. Through mechanism, through seminars, through conferences, it cannot be done. Yes, the role of NSS is very much essential. Yes. I am happy enough that NSS across the India, their coordinators, students are doing very good job to make them enable to think you are Indian. And to make them good citizens and responsible citizens, the role of NSS is very much important. We are now in the era of decline of ethics and morality. Through NSS, morality and ethics can be resumed among the students. Apart from traditional courses or apart from their syllabus-based education, if the students involved in social outreach or their participation for the greater interest of the greater society, if they are able to understand freely what is good for them, then they can only elect their representative. They can be part of this debate, one nation, one election. Actually, the concept of nationalism in South Asian context is also very different. India, as we know, already I repeatedly mentioned that multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multicultural. But if you think about Maldives, a South Asian country, it is one nation, one state, in true sense. Maldives is a small island country having 1,194 islands, population 5.5 lakhs only. Language is Divehi. Ethnically, they are Maldivians. Religiously, they are Islam. It is possible to think we are Maldivians. Regarding Pakistan, it is not possible because East Pakistani Bengali people already formed their new state, 1971, that is Bangladesh. And within the Pakistan now, there are so many clashes among Baluch, among Sindh, among Pashto, among the Punjabis. Only 7.5% people of Pakistan only speak and write Urdu. That's a problem of nationalism. In Nepal also, in Sri Lanka also, you know the history of bloody civil war of Sri Lanka, Sinhala versus Tamil. So it is very difficult to create a national state for India. And political clashes, political violence, corruption, these are the obstacles. Poverty, these are the obstacles. So if we left these challenges, then it will recurrently come in near future. We will have to address these challenges. What kinds of measures are to be taken to address this challenge? Number one, to eliminate poverty. Without eliminating poverty, it is very difficult to manage of the people. Most of the challenges, regional insurgencies in India are caused by poverty, underdevelopment and uneven development. Why after 78 years of independence, the equal developmental activities have not been done in each and every parts of India? This is first question. This caused regional insurgencies in India. This debate is not only for the North Indian people, South Indian people, East Indian people, but it's Northeast Indian people, West Indian people. But thing is that whether the all people of India are considering India as their country, we are imposing this concept, very concept from above. This is top-down approach. Now we'll have to rethink the bottom-up approach. What the grassroots people are thinking, whether they are happy with this system or not, whether their basic needs have been fulfilled there or not, whether their basic requirements have been fulfilled or not. Number two, there are so many groups in India who are living in India, but they are unhappy with India. So they have good linkage with the external powers. They are involved in secessionist movements. So this is the great problem of integration. Number three, education, literacy. Literacy means not only signature. If you are literate, then it means you can sign. But if we talk about you are educated, then you have some knowledge about the society, about your country, about the parliament and procedure. Number four, the neutral role of mass media. This is the fourth pillar of democracy. The role of mass media is very much challenging now, questionable. Paid news is there, and the media's biasness. Many medias in India are aligned with some political parties to get advertisement and to backed by the political parties. They are propagating the agenda of political parties. Number five, we are talking about India's knowledge system. We are very much proud about Indian knowledge system. Central government of India also initiated so many programs and so many projects to project Indian knowledge, Indian heritage, and not only in India, outside of India, through soft power. The concept of soft power is coined by Joseph Nye. The soft power is such a thing through film, through art, culture, sports, when a country represents its cultural things to the other countries and try to communicate with the other people of the other country, people-to-people contact. But thing is that if Indian people are proud enough to their integrity, their national, then they will have to keep away themselves from corruption. We are, on the one side we are talking integrity, on the other side we are drainaging money. We are attached with criminal activities, corruption. The main actual ulcer which is been created in Indian politics, that is the administrative corruption and political corruption, nepotism. So democracy can be managed, parliamentary acts can be managed through by-body. It is very true. It is a bitter word, but it is very true in India. Without having the free and fair political party system, not only outside, within the political parties, there should be democracy. Internal structure of each and every political party is not democratic, especially one party system, one man show party system. And some political parties are formed by a particular leader in India throughout the years. So without democratic thinking or culture within the party, it is not possible. Charity begins at home. So we can change the views of our students in our schools, colleges and universities, making them enable to think about India, what is India, apart from regional sentiments, apart from regional consideration, caste-based consideration, religious consideration. Otherwise, we will spend time in vain. Lot of debates will be going on throughout the years, throughout the decades, but no conclusion will come out. The basic question of India is, regarding the national question, we rarely unite together. If we talk about UK, USA, France, they are not always just propagate, we are very nationalist, we are happy, we are proud of enough to be a citizen of France. But in practice, they apply. Regarding national interest, they actually used to convergence with their opinion with the ruling party. Regarding internal issues, they may differ to each other. But this political courtesy is essential for India. The politics of hate, Indian politics, the quality of Indian politics has been reduced because the politicians used to blame the other political parties in a bad manner, negative manner, without giving room to the oppositions, both in states, in center. It is not possible to establish a exact democracy, in true sense democracy. Opposition parties should be respected, they should be given room or space. And regarding the very controversial issues and very crucial issues, before going to pass any bill, that should be discussed within the all political parties meeting, common meeting. That is, in this way they can remove their enmity to each other. So it is a very big challenge for India. It is the most populous country in the world, largest democracy in the world. So whatever it will be done, that should be carefully done in consultation with all political parties, feedback from the civil society members, students, teachers. So I think in near future, government of India will rethink about the proper execution of one election and one nation, because it is, we can easily say it is good or it is bad. It is debatable issue. Long time is to be spent to execute it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Devashish Nande, for insightful presentation on voting behavior, national integration, and the role of NSS in national integration. Thank you so much, sir. On the behalf of everyone, I extend thanks to Dr. Devashish Nande for sharing his valuable thoughts with us. Now, I would like to request Dr. Banerjee to present the letter of appreciation to our worthy resource person. Thank you so much, sir.
फोटो लगे तुलबे আমিও ঘুমাই দিয়েছিগা আমি সামনে রয়েছি না ঘুমাতে কেমন লাগছে আমি ঘুমাই দিই
ये कहाँ है सिक्किम की
Now it is a request to all the POs, please make sure their cultural performance. The event is start on 6 p.m. at 6. Please get ready and don't be late. Thank you so much.